joining us. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We were just trying to figure this out. Although we're both young, we should know how to do it, whatever. So today we're going to talk about how to look and feel your best during the holiday season. And I'm really excited. I have a special guest with me today, Christina from CMO Fitness. And Christina is a personal trainer and nutrition coach, and she helps women reach their full potential through fitness and what they eat and all that fun stuff, and kind of reach their maximum potential that way. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mallory Sills. I'm an image and wardrobe consultant. I help women reach their full potential like Christina, but I do it with what they wear. And we're both based in the western suburbs of Chicago. Christina helps people virtually as well, and so do I. Thank you to the wonderful world of the internet.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about us. We decided to talk about how to look and feel your best during the holidays because we found it was kind of a topic that seemed relevant for this time of year, and a lot of people are getting overwhelmed and they're frustrated and stressed out, and like, how do I stay on track and still feeling great without spending too much time on it and like losing track of everything you have to do. And I know Christina had a few people and things like that she was like, oh, I think this would be a really fun topic to just talk about. And this is part one. We're doing a two-part series this month. So typically I just do one webinar a month, but Christina and I decided to do a two-part series. So our next webinar is going to be later on in the month talking about New Year's resolutions, which is going to be huge. I know Christina's going to have a lot to share on that because it's huge in the fitness industry. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to kind of start off by talking about what are simple tips to look and feel your best during the holidays that help you minimize stress. I'm going to have Christina start us out with this one.
First of all, thank you for having me, Mallory. I'm excited that we're going to share this webinar together. I think we can really reach a lot of people, and like you said, we have a lot of the same points, just coming from different avenues, so I think it's good for our viewers. But stress is huge over the holidays, whether or not you're concerned about your wardrobe or whether or not you're concerned about fitness. Some people kind of put those in the back of their minds. So it's stressful for even people that aren't worried about things like that. Once you start adding in a fitness journey or a nutrition journey or anything like that, it can definitely be a lot more stressful, especially in terms of those things, because now you have a calendar of December and every single weekend is full with social gatherings and parties and shopping, and our schedules get a little bit crazy. And I think the whole part of the holidays is supposed to be social and fun, but we get bogged down with all that stress. So kind of like what you were saying, what we're going to be talking about today is things that we can do to reduce that stress, but still maybe stay on track with our goals without getting a little bit too crazy. So generally, tips that I would give my clients or anyone who would ask how to stay on track and be less stressed over the holidays, I would say is aim to just maintain your weight for the holidays. And that sounds kind of crazy coming from a trainer. You would think that a trainer would say, lose 1 pound this week, 2 pounds this week, or whatever it is, but sometimes that's not realistic, and you're kind of setting yourself up for frustration and disappointment if you're so dead set on those goals and the end of December rolls around and maybe you didn't hit those goals, and then the holidays are kind of ruined, because I know what it can feel like if you're not reaching those goals. So I always kind of tell people to err on the side of maintenance over the holidays. Let's keep your goals in mind, but let's not try to get to a crazy new low weight or a new dress size by January 1st. I'm not saying that you should put those goals totally away, and you shouldn't aim to be three sizes bigger come January 1st. Nobody wants that either. But I think it takes a lot of the stress out of it if we're not too crazy about what we're trying to do over the holidays, if that makes sense.
Sure. So what are kind of some tips I'm curious for myself too. What are some ways that you would recommend to do that maintaining, since there are so many more temptations, like food-wise during this time of year? Like, because you still want to have a little bit of the cake, and I know you shouldn't have the whole thing.
Right.
But maybe what are some easy tips to keep that maintenance?
Yeah. First and foremost, stick to your workout plan. So if you like to work out in the morning, don't get into the habit over the holidays of, well, I'm kind of busier today, or I'd rather go shopping or whatever. Stick to your workout. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour workout. I think some people get stuck into their habits of spending hours and hours at the gym if they have it. God bless them if they do. But even like a quick 20-minute something just to kind of get your heart rate up. Sometimes you really don't have time, so I'll take my dogs for a walk around the neighborhood, and you just kind of feel better. Especially if you have a party later on. I think for me it helps to center myself to get my workout done in the morning and kind of set the healthy tone for the rest of the day, and then I can still have my slice of pie or whatever at the party. I'm not about deprivation at all, so instead of getting to the party worrying about counting calories or measuring food, just go for that one thing that you love. Maybe it's your uncle's famous apple pie that you only have once a year. Eat your normal dinner. We don't want you to overeat or go crazy or anything, but have your normal dinner and then have your slice of apple pie and then be done. Like you said, there's a difference between having the whole pie and then just the slice. So I think kind of having it in that perspective, we get the whole balance thing. We're not going nuts, but we're still getting that dessert that we like. And then we're also staying on top of our normal workout routine as best we can.
Okay. And I like what you said, kind of choosing your one or two things maybe that you really love.
Yeah.
So you're still enjoying the holiday season. You're still getting those flavors and all that kind of stuff, but you're not like overindulging like
right. Not going nuts.
Sure.
So what about with you, with wardrobe, which is kind of foreign to me and what I do? As you know, I'm always in yoga pants. What are some quick, easy tips that you would give people for staying stress-free but still dressing and feeling their best?
I say, planning ahead, kind of like with, staying on track with your diet. It's all in the plan. If you, like that saying, if you don't plan, you're planning to fail, sort of thing. Not that I like using the word fail, like you're gonna fail miserably, but it's all in a plan. So like if you have a crazy week ahead, figure out what you're gonna wear if you have 10 minutes one night. Take that time to set aside, and maybe even scheduling it. I have clients that we actually design a scheduling time for them. Every Sunday night before they go to work, before their week work starts, they know what they're going to wear that week. And you can do that same thing with, especially if you're going to work and maybe have to go to an event right away. What are you going to do? Are you going to have the same dress for work and the party and just change out your accessories, but have a plan so you're not just rushing the last minute and kind of having a freak out like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything to wear. And then it kind of ruins your party experience. I've had so many clients that they come to me for that reason, because they're like, I'm tired of having a meltdown every day before an event, where they either ended up not going at all because they would just kind of get so overwhelmed and so just consumed in their emotions because they felt like crap basically about the way they felt or looked. Or they would go and be miserable the whole time because all they're worried about is what you're wearing. So, having that plan, maybe figure out a few of your favorite outfits that make you feel really good and just change out the accessories for this time of year. I'm big on, I always feel like anything glittery makes it feel more holiday. So that's why I did my earrings, or even with your makeup, I put some glitter on today. But anything shiny always just feels more holiday appropriate. So even if it's that same black dress, but you feel awesome in that black dress, wear it all the time. Wear it to every party that you can. Just put a jacket over it, or put a sweater, or a fun necklace, and no one's gonna know. No one's gonna be like, oh, I've seen you in that same dress every time you go out. No one's gonna notice that, and they're not gonna say that if you change it up a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, with different shoes or something like that.
No, that's
Um,
true. You bring like there really is no worse feeling than just feeling like garbage and you haven't even gotten to the party yet because you don't like what you're wearing.
exactly.
There's no worse feeling. Yeah. So you're right.
Right. And it's the same thing like you were saying, if you kind of go there and you're so concerned about what you're going to eat, you're not enjoying yourself. So if you're going there and you're hating what you feel or look like, you're just not going to have a good time. And the holidays, I feel like this time of year is all about just having fun, seeing people that you don't see as often, and just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so I that's a big one. My planning is big for me for like everything, like
Mhm.
shopping. It, it needs to become like a way of life
Yeah.
to make things less stressful in the long run. And even like take pictures. If you don't remember, like everyone has phones that take pictures nowadays. So I have a lot of clients that as we're even going through things, they'll take pictures while I'm there, or you know, we do that all the time, so it's you have that visual memory. So if you are in that sense of overwhelm, like you're having one of those days, we all do, that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what I'm doing. You have a picture, so you don't even have to think about it anymore.
I like that. That's good. And also to kind of piggyback off of that, I feel that if I have a nice outfit on and if I like the way that I look and if I have like cute shoes on, I'm way more likely to not go nuts at the dessert table. I know that sounds kind of weird, but if I'm feeling good, I'm like, I feel awesome. I really don't feel like overeating because then you just kind of feel crummy, like you're like bloated and kind of gross. So I think even to kind of put them together even more so, like if you feel good and if you feel like I look hot in this dress or these shoes are so cute, and if you
Yeah.
just feel confident walking into the party, you're probably less likely to, finish off the brownie plate because you're already feeling good.
Right, exactly. I like that you say that too, because I now that you say that, I kind of feel the same way. If I feel like, and if you're in kind of like a tight, sexy dress or something like that,
Right.
you don't want to feel bloated then,
Right. Or, yeah,
or
right.
feel like
Totally.
you're gonna bust out of the dress. So it can kind of help both ways. And really, what I love about collaborating with you is that both of our businesses at the end of the day have the same underlying, you know, kind of goal is just
Totally.
helping people be able to walk out of the door and just feel really amazing about yourself. Because
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in if you can walk out of the house and feel like I look good,
Yeah.
you can do
Totally.
anything you want that day. Like
Agree.
that's no longer a kind of an obstacle that you have to overcome at work if you're selling yourself or selling a product. If you're already feeling good, that's not an obstacle that you have to deal
Yeah.
with.
No, I totally agree. Same with leaving the gym feeling accomplished. If you, after a good workout, you're like, today is so easy. I guess,
Yeah.
like, I just ran the fastest I've ever ran, or I just lifted that over my head. I
Yeah.
feel like you just feel good about yourself. So, yeah,
Yeah.
any other challenge for the day is nothing. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that you say that because I know days when I leave the gym and I had a really good workout or something, I'm like, I just did that. Let's bring
Do
on
this.
the rest
Yeah.
of the day. Like, what else can I do? You know, you
Right.
kind of want to see like, well, I did that. What can I
Right.
do now?
Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right. And I feel like it kind of goes in hand too. I feel like you're a little bit more willing to go up to new people or be a little bit more social
Yeah.
at social gatherings if you're feeling good about yourself. And you tend to attract more people too. People want to be like, what's she all about? You
Yeah.
walk in the room like you own it, and people are like, I want to know what she's drinking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. So the next kind of thing I thought we'd talk about are easy ways to prepare for the events without sacrificing how you look or feel. Because we kind of talked about, I think being prepared was kind of the underlying theme for us both with simple tips. But now how do we do that preparing? Like what are great ways that you would say to prepare yourself for this time of year? Ahead of time before we're already in the midst of things. Like,
So That's actually a really good question. So I think going back to, like you said, being prepared,
Mhm.
what works for me is kind of looking at my whole month and coming up with a workout schedule. So that's probably something that I recommend my clients to do even before Thanksgiving comes, because I feel like once Thanksgiving hits, it's all downhill, and then before we know it, it's January. So kind of flipping open your planner and figuring out realistically where you can squeeze those workouts in kind of maps out the month, and it, like, similar to figuring out your wardrobe, you've now come up with with the schedule that you're going to stick to. So now you don't have to get halfway through December going, oh my gosh, I have no time to work out. When can I work out again? And I feel for me, if I go a few days without working out, I'm super unmotivated. And if you throw in a ton of parties and drinks and pie and whatever, it's just one big snowball of me feeling like garbage.
Right.
And then a lot of my clients, we don't want that kind of culminating and turning into, well, now it's January 1st. January 1st is coming. I'm just going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and just keep on this like lazy cycle and donut cycle or whatever it is, because January 1st is coming and I'll change then. So I think having that plan so that you can see, okay, I'm going to squeeze in these workouts and do that even before the holidays come. You still have time to do that now because it's not the end of December yet. So if you haven't come up with a workout schedule kind of for the rest of December, you can do that now. And then as far as eating goes, preparing is kind of really think about what you're going to enjoy the most. Kind of, I already said this about the pie, but kind of being prepared that way and kind of knowing what you think you're going to eat. I always tell people, always eat breakfast. Don't try and starve yourself in the morning thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to eat a ton later and it'll be fine, because you'll eat more at the party. So always prepare yourself the day before the party and eat breakfast. That's like the number one thing I can tell you to do. Drink a ton of water, because that'll keep you nice and full and hydrated. And if you do have a cocktail, you'll be less hungover, so that's important too. And just kind of keeping it in focus that way. Kind of coming back, a bad meal or a couple cocktails and a few pieces of pie or dessert and like maybe a really extravagant dinner it's a drop in the bucket. It's really not gonna change too much. It's when that happens on a regular basis. So because of the way that the holidays fall, it's one thing after the other. It's kind of overwhelming, and you probably feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to button my pants by the end of this. But really, if you kind of just get back on track, like after Thanksgiving, as long as you get back on track the next day, you'll be fine. So kind of keeping it in perspective that way. The worst thing that you can do is be totally stressed and not enjoy your friends and your family and their company because you're worried about what to eat or what not to eat. So I think there are some actions that you can take to be prepared, but then also kind of keeping your mental state in check. Like, it's really not that big of a deal if you enjoy yourself for Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
You can enjoy yourself.
Right. And I like what you said when we talked the other day, when you brought up, Thanksgiving, the holidays only come one time a year.
Mhm.
So it's not like we're going through and doing all these parties every month, or every other week or something like that.
Right.
That's probably, if we are kind of living like that, that's probably when it is starting to become a little bit of a problem.
Totally.
But I loved that you said, the Thanksgiving's one day out of the year, so you can enjoy yourself and treat yourself to eating something that you wouldn't always every other day, like
right.
For me.
Yes, right.
Thinking about my mom's stuffing because it's so good.
Yep.
But it's only one time a year, so I was like, all right. But now that time of year is over, so
totally.
To go away.
Right, totally. Yeah, my dad makes cheesecake every year. I have a slice, and I'm like, don't give me any leftovers. I don't need to eat it because I'll finish it all. So I have my slice. I really, really enjoy it. I look forward to it every year. But I have it, I enjoyed it, and I walk away. Like, I don't need the whole cheesecake.
Sure. Yeah. And like you said, you tend I feel like after you do kind of, if you eat the whole thing, you feel bad after, then it's like when you're kind of feeling guilty, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and then it's kind of like this whole downward spiral.
And we want to avoid guilt because that's kind of where the stress comes back in. We totally don't want to associate guilt with Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's, because that's that ruins the fun. So I
Right.
think, yeah, like you said, if you start binging on it, you kind of feel guilty, and that kind of takes the fun out of the whole thing.
Sure.
Um, so I know I'm kind of recovering. My bank account is recovering from Cyber Monday. So during the holidays, things get kind of crazy. So my question for you would be, what's your number one shopping tip for during the holiday season?
My number one shopping tip is to like not buy something just because it's on sale. Because with this time of year, so many people like you feel like you're supposed to buy it because it's on sale. You
That's
know what I mean? Like I have so many clients that were like, I bought it and yeah, it's not that great, but I only paid X amount of dollars for it. And it's like that I only paid statement that I'm like, well, I get it because it's exciting, but that's what they're doing. They want you to get excited so that you are going to buy it. But I always say if you wouldn't pay full price for it, you probably shouldn't buy it.
Oh, I
Because,
like that.
because if you wouldn't pay full price for it originally, you're probably not really valuing it and you're just buying it just to buy at that point.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've fallen into it too, where it's like, well, it's like $5 or something like that, and it's like exciting and the energy around, and with all these, Cyber Monday and Black Friday coming around, I know like so many people. I was getting a ton of emails. I know so many other people were getting a lot of emails too, and it's kind of like, okay, you have to take a step back and say, do I really need anything? Or am I just going to be buying something because it's on sale, So that's my biggest shopping tip, especially for this time of year. I mean, I say that regardless of what time of year it is, but especially with, like, Cyber Monday, Black Friday. I just got a couple emails today that's like Cyber Week. And I'm like, all right, we're just going to keep them coming.
Right. Yikes. Yeah, no, I've probably done that a few times where I'm like, I don't love this, but it's 50% off, so I'll just buy it. And I probably wouldn't have bought it when it was full price. But kind of to piggyback off that question, I'm going to ask you another one.
Yeah.
Kind of, I know, like, including myself, I like to stick to a budget. I kind of like to save my money most of the time. So what's the best way then to piece together a holiday outfit without kind of breaking the bank?
Usually I like to say, you probably have some good basics in your wardrobe. Like most women have like a dress or, like a black dress or a black pair of pants or something like that. And I like to start with like basics like that. Most wardrobes should have whatever basics work for your life. So if a black dress fits into your lifestyle, use that as like your starting point, and you already have like a great foundation. And then it's just using accessories, which I love doing that even not in the holiday season, because accessories you can get at a lot more reasonable prices than a new dress. You can get a new pair of earrings for, $7, $8, where a new dress is going to cost you much more typically. So it's a much more budget-friendly way to update. Places like Charming Charlie's or Forever 21. I think I got these from Forever 21 like 7 years ago.
Nice.
And every time I wear them, people say something to me, and I paid like $6 or $7 for them.
Awesome.
But it's one of those things that like it's easier to buy because most people can afford a $6 or $7 purchase as opposed to a couple $100 for a whole new outfit. So whenever I always hear people that are like, I need a whole new outfit for a party. And I'm like, why? You probably have things in your closet. You probably don't need a whole new outfit.
Right.
What do you want to wear? Do you want to wear a dress? Do you want to wear a skirt? See what you have already. And I like to say, see what you have already that you feel really awesome in. Like, do you have a jacket that you just love to wear and you just, like, feel good in it? Or is it a dress? Whatever it is, and kind of go from there. Like maybe a new pair of shoes. But and shoes, I always say, is kind of fun because again, you can get them at reasonable prices. Even Nordstrom and places like that, they'll have them on sale. You can get an awesome pair of shoes for under $50 or DSW, and it's like, and shoes always fit. I tell everybody, especially for like with you, with your clients going through body change, I'm like, girl, shoes always fit.
True. That is true.
Shoes and accessories. Shoes and accessories always fit. So that's also why it's kind of fun to buy them too, because no matter what size you are, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I like that a lot, because even if you are in the middle of a body transformation or weight loss journey or weight gain journey, your earrings are always going to fit. Your shoes are always going to look cute. That's a really good point. I like that a lot. That's very cool.
Yeah, and especially if someone's going through a weight loss transition and they're maybe not loving the other things that they're wearing, you know, because they're kind of in that middle between sizes, or they're not ready to like jump to that smaller size quite yet. It's a fun way to make your outfit feel more fun, you know. Throwing on a pair of earrings. Who doesn't love a fun pair of shoes?
Yeah. Yeah, even I do. Shocking, I know.
So I have a couple questions for you, too, that we had some people write in, and I know some people before we did this today, when they knew you were coming on, they're like, ask her this.
Yeah.
So what drinks do you recommend when you're out at parties that kind of keep calories and your sugar in check without going totally crazy?
Yeah, so I actually get this question a lot, especially in the summer when people are outside drinking cocktails and stuff too. Right. Alcohol is a big kind of controversial topic in the weight loss world especially, but I'm not about deprivation at all. So if you just love your margaritas or whatever, as long as you're not having them, well, I certainly hope you're not having them every day, but as long as you're not having them every weekend, that's totally okay. We have to figure out a way to make it fit into your lifestyle. Similar to you saying about, you know, does a black dress fit into your lifestyle? Let's figure out how to make it work. Same with like your drinks. So usually the biggest problem with drinks is not so much the alcohol, but what people are mixing it with. So I actually talked with someone about this yesterday. They're like, I really love Jack and Coke. I'm like, okay, you have to meet me halfway here. I'm not usually a fan of diet soda. I'm not. Yeah. But if you're drinking alcohol, you really can't be that concerned about the chemicals in the diet pop because you're drinking alcohol, which has chemicals in it anyway. So from a calorie standpoint, you'd be best off mixing your Jack or your rum or whatever with like a diet pop. Again, I'm not advocating for diet drinks all the time for a ton of other controversial reasons.
Right.
But I think for that night to kind of save on your calories and your sugar, go ahead and mix your alcohol with a diet drink. To even get even a little healthier than that, you can mix it with club soda, not to be confused with tonic water. I actually just learned this like 3 years ago that tonic water has calories in it. I had no idea. But club soda is just carbonated water. So like vodka, carbonated water, and a squeeze of lime is really good. I'm actually drinking carbonated water now. I love it. But it's a good one because you get that fizz still with your drink or your vodka or whatever.
Right.
A little bit of flavor with a squeeze of a lime juice. But anything that's really sugary, so like juices or any of those mixes, like if you're pouring a mixer that's already got color in it, it's red or blue or green, typically that's just sugar water with a little bit of alcohol in it, and that's really going to be what's going to accelerate your hangover the next day, which nobody wants that. So finding new things to mix your alcohol with is good. I think that way you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. You can have your alcohol and kind of save on those extra calories. So that's kind of the way that I would do it.
Cool. So what would you say with like, you know, like I love Cosmopolitans and like cute little drinks like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips like in that kind of arena, or is it
so kind of for more of like fruity drinks, your best bet is to do like fresh fruit at the bottom, like muddle the berries, the raspberries. You like I just came back from Costco. You can buy a big tin of raspberries or blueberries or whatever and muddle them in the bottom, and that would kind of be in place of a ton of simple syrup or whatever other stuff is going in there. And then you can put your alcohol in there, and I know simple syrup is in a lot of that, which is really just caramelized sugar water. You can kind of put less in there. You're probably still going to want to put some in there unless you're like really brave and can drink it straight up.
Right. I was like, I'm gonna need a little something.
Yeah. So, or even adding like a carbonated water to it with an extra squeeze of a lime, but you already have the fresh fruit in there. I know some people I've recommended to put like cucumbers in their vodka, and then they mix that. So I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's fresh, it's fruity. If you ever muddle berries in the bottom of your drink, it's super cute. It's super cute. So, and it's kind of classy. I did have a client once that would take the zest of an orange and kind of shave it into her drink, and her martinis looked super cute.
Yeah.
It had like, it's just fresh and natural, and then it also, again, it naturally sweetens your drink, which helps with the calories too.
Okay, so basically kind of in replacing the, like the fake fruit for the
Yeah,
real stuff.
totally. Yeah, totally. Yep.
Cool. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So another question was, what should I avoid at the sweets table? I know you said kind of picking your one favorite thing or something like that, but are there some things that like you should really maybe avoid, or what are kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this is actually a really good question. And again, someone asked me this yesterday. It's kind of tough to answer because it really depends on you. Like, I had someone who cannot just eat one brownie. Cannot. They're like, if I start, I will eat all of them. And I said, are you sure? They're like, yes, I've been doing this for 50 years, and 50 years I've been polishing off the brownie plate. So really it's kind of an individual recommendation. If you have that trigger food that you're just going to totally binge on and go nuts on, maybe you should avoid it. If you're not really at that stage or that phase where you can kind of say, you know what, I am really okay with one brownie or one cookie, and then I can walk away. So figure out first, kind of ask yourself, like, what kind of puts me over the edge? What can't I stop at? That's a good place to start. Really, desserts aren't inherently bad. Like, one cookie is not that bad. 10 cookies, bad. Same with brownies or cakes or pie. Like, one slice, one serving isn't bad. It's like the second, third, fourth slice that you were kind of defeating the purpose. So I'm going to kind of repeat myself and say, kind of pick your one favorite, have a bite of it or a serving of it, and walk away. I think the worst thing that we can do is sample everything, and before you know it, you've filled up 3 dessert plates, and you've certainly tried everything, but now you've had about 10 servings of dessert. So I think if I did have to pick one thing that's the worst, it's anything that's like on a toothpick that you can kind of pop in your mouth, because I guarantee, well, I know a lot of people, and actually myself included, you kind of pop one in your mouth every time you walk by.
Yeah, those bite-sized things, they get you.
You have to be careful. You almost have to just have one and walk away. And then another thing that I would say is, if you know that you don't love it, ditch it. Like, what's the point? I'd rather you really save your calories and save your indulgence for what you know that you love. So if you know that your brownies are kind of okay, like, I'm not really a brownie fan, I'm not going to waste my calories on a brownie, because it's like, whatever. I've had one before. It's not that special. But I love cheesecake. So instead of having, I'll try the brownie, I know I'm not going to love it, but I know I'm probably going to love any cheesecake, I'll save my calories for the cheesecake.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So kind of, basically using it, using your dessert and sweets time for things that you're enjoying rather just eating just to eat.
Right, totally. And that should be something that people should be doing kind of in their entire daily life. Like, again, I talked about this yesterday. Don't stand by the chip bowl, because you're probably just going to, at the holiday parties, there's like pretzels, chips, and just snacky stuff.
Right.
Unless you love Chex Mix, kind of walk away from the bowl, because before you know it, you're going to have had like multiple servings of Chex, and you're probably like, that wasn't even that good.
Right.
You need to really like it. So then you're not conscious of what you're eating, and that's how calories add up. And that's a tip that people can take home for the entire year, not just the holidays.
Okay. I like that.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all probably been guilty of doing that here and there. And especially, like, my family always gets, like, the cheese trays with, like, the salamis and things like that for, like, before we eat. And I'm always like, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. But then it's like sitting right next to me.
Yeah, right?
And I'm like, why did I just eat like 4 of those? I don't even, it's not like that serious. But then,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
No.
when you're about to go eat a whole meal.
Meal, dessert, drinks. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. I like that.
We did have a few questions for you, as you know, that came in before this. So I'm going to go ahead and ask.
Okay.
Someone said, what is the best way to prepare an outfit for a Christmas party so we aren't running around at the last minute? So for me, like I have a ton of parties coming up that are already on the calendar. I guess, like, how would I even, where do I start?
Well, kind of like I was saying before, figure out like what pieces you feel the best in, and like really, like you schedule an appointment, schedule time into your calendar to figure out what you're gonna wear before the parties start, and before the day before too, because sometimes if, like I think I said earlier, if you figure out, if you're trying to figure it out like 5 minutes before you have to leave, and it's hard to really think about what you even want to look like in 5 minutes, you know? So figure out, I like to say pull out some of the pieces that you feel are like really comfortable in and you feel like you look really good in. Pull those out of your closet and figure out, like, what am I working with here? Do I have a dress? Do I have a skirt? What do I have here? And then figure out what's kind of missing from there.
Okay.
So that can kind of limit your spending too, so you're not going out and buying that whole new outfit. So maybe you do need a new necklace, or maybe you just want a new necklace because you just like want something new. Whatever it is, but figure it out so you're having that plan, and so you're not like going to the store and buying something that, I had a client that said she would used to always do it. She would go out the day before and buy something that was mediocre, she would describe it as, and just feel like, it's all right, and never really wear it again either, because that was the feeling that was attached to it, was this stressful time, this time of just buying it because I'm desperate and I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
So plan ahead, and especially because like trying to go shop right now during this holiday season is going to probably be stressful. It just is. But I think going in knowing that is already a step ahead, because it's the holiday season. It's going to be crowded. The lines are probably going to be long. So give yourself a little bit extra time.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, with shopping in general, with planning your outfits in general, schedule it like you do an appointment, because you have to make it a priority and make it as important as a client, as an appointment with a client, because it's an appointment to yourself.
Totally. Yeah, that makes total sense. Like, same with like a workout. You would schedule that ahead of time and honor the appointment. And I totally love how you said expect that it's going to be stressful, because that it does kind of take away some of the like anxiety that you have if you're expecting it to just be cool as a cucumber and the lines out the door. It's like, oh my gosh. So I like how you said just be prepared to kind of be a little, budget it a little extra time. Lines might be nuts. There's going to be people.
Right. Because I think that's where sometimes people get more of the overwhelm, is they go during this time of year and kind of expect it to be like any other time of the year. But everybody's going to the mall right now. Like, people are coming out of the woodwork. Like, I live at the mall every time of year, and I know that this time of year it can be overwhelming for me. So I know for people who don't like to shop already, just go in knowing that it's going to be a little crazy, and just kind of like take a deep breath. Like, try not to let it get to you. It's kind of like anything else in life. If you just kind of go in expecting more of a, like, I never like to say expect the worst, but you kind of have to in a situation like that, because sometimes you may fly through the checkout line and then you end up like really excited.
Yeah, that's true.
So just anticipate that it's going to be crowded, and there's probably going to be a line at the fitting room, and there's probably going to be a line, but it just comes with the territory. This time of year.
I like that. That's true. And then we have another question for you too. This one kind of is the same thing.
Okay.
We be following different guidelines dressing for the holidays?
Um, Not really. I mean, I usually say, what works for your body during the holidays works for your body every time of year. And more often than not, even like for you, when people lose weight, usually their general shape stays about the same. Like their weight may fluctuate, but if they're bigger on top, they're usually going to be a little bit bigger on the top. That's just usually
Sure.
the way
Yeah.
it is. Um, and so like the general rules of like I'm big on proportion, like having you look proportioned because most of us are not evenly proportioned. So it's kind of like if you're bigger on the top, wear something that's a little bit frilly or a little bit more volume on the bottom and it balances you out visually. But I would say like one thing that I like to say to do a little bit different during the holidays is like go a little bit more glam than you might other times of the year because a lot of my clients that like work 9 to 5 jobs in more of a structured environment, like they are not going to like show up to work in like super
Yeah.
bedazzled like accessories normally, but I feel like you can during the holiday season. You can like have a little bit more color or but just like have fun with it. Like
Yeah.
if you have like I have this necklace. I did my little mannequin and like super accessories today.
I like it.
Um, I have this necklace that I don't wear it that often, but like it's a super fun one. And I feel like even if you're just wearing a t-shirt during the holiday season, if you're wearing a t-shirt and this and black pants, you suddenly look holiday
Yeah.
appropriate.
That's true.
So it's kind of like tricking people, but just like have like a couple like fun pieces like that you might not wear any other time of the year, but save them for your holiday pieces. Like that's okay, it's fun.
Yeah. I
And
like that.
yeah, and I think just remembering that like it's a fun time of year, like, enjoy it and like treat it like that.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I just went to Charming Charlie's to buy accessories for the holidays, and it's stuff. Even my sister was like, "Really, you're gonna buy that?" But because I mean, you know me, you know my style. I'm always in workout clothes or Nike or Under Armour, but I'm looking forward to being able to wear some of those sparkly things from Charming Charlie's or Forever 21 that I otherwise can't wear
Right.
because I'm working out. Like I can't wear earrings that you're wearing now when I work. That just doesn't make any sense. But like I said, I have a ton of holiday parties coming up, so I'm kind of excited to have a little bit more sparkle, like more bracelets on or whatever because it is fun and I like that. That's very true.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the only differentiation, I guess you would
Okay.
say, that I say for this time of year.
Okay. Cool. I like that.
So another question for you,
Okay.
which I'm going to kind of tag on for my personal
Yeah. Go ahead.
question. Well, the original question was, with a busy schedule, what are easy ways to fit in time for working out?
Okay. Is that part one?
That's part one. So I'll wait until you answer that,
Okay.
and then I'll give you mine.
Okay. So actually, I have a lot of clients who actually don't even have a gym membership. So they either come and see me or they do virtual training with me, and they have to utilize the space in their home. So for them, especially, and even if you do have a gym membership and you're like, I just don't have the time to drive there, drive back, the whole thing, use your living room space or even your bedroom space and bust out a few things that you know that you can do at home. I mean, everyone knows how to bust out a push-up, whether or not you're on your toes or your knees. Don't worry about that. Everyone knows how to do a jumping jack. Most people know how to do wall sits and things like that. So doing body weight stuff at home is definitely a good one, even if I guess don't fall into the perfect workout trap. I used to do this where if I wasn't spending a certain amount of time doing a certain amount of this, if I wasn't at the gym or in the studio or in a certain space, I'm like, it doesn't count. That's wrong. It totally counts. Even if you have to walk up and down your stairs a few extra times, which sounds silly, but really walking up the stairs is an awesome calorie burner. Um, if you had all the time in the world, could you do something more beneficial? Sure, but that's not realistic. Even for someone like me, sometimes I do have to opt for a few planks at the end of the day and a few push-ups in my bedroom before I go to bed because I had no time to get in a structured workout. So I think just being realistic with yourself, if you know, okay, I only have 20 minutes, what can I do in 20 minutes? go for a 10-minute walk in one direction outside and turn around and come back. Bam, 20 minutes. Like, or a jog if that's your thing. Totally walk if you're not a runner. Jog if you can. Run if you can. Just do something. Be realistic with your time, because there's nothing worse, and this is from a fitness professional, there's nothing worse than cramming in this long workout and then your other priorities of the day have fallen off the bandwagon. It kind of, then you're stressed. You're like, why did I work out? And we don't want that. We don't want that stress associated with the workout. It should be positive. So
sure.
Even if it's...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If it's 10, 20 minutes, get down on your bedroom floor, do a few push-ups, jumping jacks. If you know how to do a burpee, do a wall sit, like run up your basement stairs twice, and, you know, do that a couple times until 20 minutes is up.
Nice. I like that. And I am like one of the weird people that, like, I like to do burpees. I think that everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I'm like, I think they're kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree. People think,
I like that they're hard. I'm like, it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. So if you ever have 5 minutes, literally just do 5 minutes of burpees and jumping jacks, and your heart rate will be up there. You'll be sweaty, and it's better than nothing. Totally.
Sure. So one of my other questions, like, for me, I always go out of town during the holiday season, and I have a few clients that go out of town a lot too. And sometimes, like, I love to have my workout in, like, I don't like to miss it regardless of where I'm at in the world. But I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, I'm on vacation. Do you really, like, need to work out? Or, like, what's kind of your advice on that? What are kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it kind of depends on the vacation. If I'm going to go to a beach for a week, realistically, I'm probably not going to plan working out every single day. Some resorts, or depending on where people are going, might not have the luxury of a gym in the hotel. If there's a gym in the hotel or the resort or wherever you're staying, I think it's fun to kind of work out in a new place. Like, especially if you're somewhere kind of exotic, like, I know you're going on vacation soon too. Like, it's cool to say, like, oh, I worked out in this new place or whatever. To me, that's kind of motivating and cool, but maybe you don't have that. Again, this kind of goes back to being realistic. If you're going to bring your gym shoes and stuff like that, and if, you know, maybe heading to the resort gym is realistic for you a few times, do it. If not, if you don't have that, I would say try and get outside and just walk around. I think we underestimate the power of a walk, especially if you're on vacation, especially if you're eating a lot on vacation. I love to go for walks after I've eaten, like, a big meal. I'm like, I just need to kind of walk this off. And it's not a run, and I'm not, like, huffing and puffing, but kind of walk it off that way. And then that kind of, you just feel better about moving anyway. So kind of see where you're at, and I would say definitely walk. Even if you're in flip-flops, even if you're on the beach, like, go for a nice long walk. But then get back on the bandwagon as soon as you get home.
Cool. I like that, because I have no problem with, like, going to work out, but I have had trips that were shorter that I definitely planned on, like, yeah, I'm going to work out, or I'm going to go for, like, a run every morning, and I, like, did one time. And I was like, I could have fit more shoes in here.
Right. Right. Yeah. So just be realistic. And I think another one is, don't tell yourself you're going to work out 7 times and then you didn't work out and you're like, oh my gosh, I let myself down. So kind of be your own best friend in that sense and figure out what's going to feel good and what's going to make sense for you.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like a question that you had for me with, is there anything different I should do with my diet or workout regimen during or before the holidays, where I know I'll splurge, and should I prepare in any way?
Oh, okay, good. That's a good one. A lot of people may be shocked by this answer, but I'm going to go ahead and say no. We don't want, so if you were my nutrition coaching client, I would say we don't want to start getting into the habit of figuring out a way to combat any of our habits. A lot of people turn to, like, crazy juice detoxes and, you know, maybe like you hear about all that stuff, like different things that they can do to lose their 5 pounds that they gained over Thanksgiving or whatever.
Right.
There's nothing, and then this kind of ties into our topic about being stressed about it. there's nothing more stressed than going to a party, enjoying yourself, and then just thinking about, well, what do I have to do tomorrow to make up for this? Should I spend an hour on the treadmill and then an hour on the stair climber? The answer is no. Enjoy it and walk away from it, and then just be ready to start over back on your original eating habits the next day. I enjoy eating fruits and vegetables. I enjoy eating healthy foods and making protein shakes and smoothies and stuff like that. It just feels good for me. I have a lot of energy when I do that. So I'm always looking forward to eating those whole natural foods the next day. And I'm not detoxing. I'm just going back to what works for me and feels good. So I'm not depriving myself the next day. Like, I've already had my cocktail and, you know, my dinner and my pie, let's say, on Christmas, and the next day I'm going to go back to my regular routine. My eggs, my egg whites, the whole thing. So is there anything new you should be doing? No. If you already have a good eating routine and a good exercise routine, just be ready to hop back on the bandwagon once it all kind of calms down. A big one for me is not keeping too many leftovers in the house, because someone's got to eat them and it's got to be me. So I try to just enjoy whatever's at the party and then walk away and be done. That way, otherwise I'll finish all the leftovers as fast as I can and then hop back on it. So I'm not a fan of detoxes. I'm not a fan of doing anything crazy like that. But again, this is assuming that you kind of already have a good handle on food and, you know, heavy on the fruits and vegetables and the lean meats and stuff like that. If you're eating McDonald's every day on a regular basis, I wouldn't say hop back on that bandwagon. But yeah, so that's kind of how I would answer that question.
Cool. I like that. That's good, because I think that word detox, I feel like, is such a it's like a word of the moment kind of thing. Right? That's like, you hear everyone is doing a detox, and I think it's always something that some people are like, am I supposed to be on a detox? I don't even know. Do I? Don't I? I don't know. So I like that you said, you know, just go back to eating how you normally would.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I would suggest not to do a detox, but the short story for today is don't even worry about doing the detox. Just get back on track. And then I do have one more question for you, and this is totally, I need to hear this answer really bad. So I'm not a heel walker. I'm really short, but heels aren't my thing. I like Nikes. But during the holidays and stuff, it is kind of fun to throw on I love boots with heels on them and booties and stuff like that. But I'm also not very coordinated. So if it's icy and snowy out, should I change my shoes at the party into my cute ones? Or how do you kind of deal with heels and weather?
Well, I always say, like, you probably don't want to do what I do, because I'm just like, I'll walk around it. But everyone's like, you are nuts, but I like live for my heels.
Okay.
But I don't expect everybody else to. Like, all my clients, I'm like, I don't expect you to be spending your days in the heels that I am. I do it because I don't know. It's fun for me. If you're worried about, like, face planting or like falling on your butt in the snow or hurting yourself, I say definitely go for bringing a different pair of shoes with you, and kind of, like, they have a lot of these great little flats that roll up into like a little bag and things like that you can store really easily in your bag, so it's not like you're totally bringing these two massive pairs of shoes to try to like carry in, or if you're limited on like purse space kind of thing. They're great because they roll up in a little bag, and you can just stuff them right in your bag that way and change into your shoes, and nobody has to know.
Cool, I like that. So don't worry about the shoes we're changing out of being cute.
No, I mean, I think more so just making them shoes that, if they're shoes you're changing out of, figuring out, like, where are you going? Is it something that you're going to need to, will you have a place to store them? What's kind of the situation with that, so you're not just kind of leaving your shoes like high and dry and then you lose them or something like that.
Sure.
Because it's notorious, I feel like, if people have to leave their shoes someplace, like someone's going to mistaken them for theirs, or they're going to go missing, or who knows what. So I really like the flats that you can roll up just because you can like tuck them into your personal bag so you don't have to worry about any of that.
Okay, cool. No, and that totally goes back to how do I not stress about this? Because I'm always stressed. Like, can I wear my ugly Uggs from the car to the party, and where am I gonna put them? I don't have a
Right.
big purse for my Uggs, and that always stresses me out. And then I'm like, if I wear my heels, I'm totally gonna slip and fall. So then I just go for the comfy shoe. So no, that I really like that. That totally helps with stress.
Yeah, and the Uggs thing, like I've been the same place because like the Uggs are comfy, they're warm, so you're like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
They have the little traction on the bottom, so there's no chance of any incidents. But when you get there, if it's like a party, you kind of feel a little bit underdressed already because
Right.
it kind of is like already you're kind of feeling like, and where am I gonna put them because they're big.
Yeah.
So the flats kind of help with that. They're not going to keep you like as warm as an UGG, but they're good to just like get you from point A to point B and then you're done.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. So, and then I have a couple more
Okay.
questions for you. So what do you suggest for staying motivated to work out this time of year? I think a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of my clients and just friends in general, and they're kind of like, they find it hard to stay motivated this time of year specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the winter thing of we feel like we're like bundled up and we want a little extra insulation.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But what do you suggest for that?
It's kind of a hard one because everyone's motivated by different things, but something that definitely motivates me is I kind of ask myself, where do I want to be a year from now? Like, time is going to come and go anyway. So if you especially if you have a weight loss goal, let's say you need to lose or you want to lose 50 pounds, you can either wait until January 1st to really get serious about it, or you can kind of start now. And I'm not saying you have to make major changes. We already talked about that. But maybe getting that gym membership now versus waiting till January 1st, or maybe going grocery shopping and getting fresh vegetables for the first time in a long time now instead of waiting, because December is going to come and go either way. So you can kind of wait for the motivation bug to come, or you can kind of ask yourself, do I want that extra month to change and better myself and kind of get into the routine, or do I really want to wait until January 1st? I know I'm really happy that we're doing another webinar about New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
But sometimes January 1st isn't enough for people. Like you said, it's still cold, it's dark out early, you have to defrost your car, you're like, I'll just work out in the summer. But then that's 6 months into the year. Right. And if you would have started in December, you would have been 7 months into your journey. So thinking about it that way, the progress you would have made in those 7 months would have been amazing. So sometimes thinking about that, thinking about future self and what would future you want you to do now.
Sure.
To me, that's super motivating. And then another one is taking pictures of yourself. Sounds weird, but maybe like what you said, putting on the outfit that you like, take a photo of yourself in it, and see how you feel. Sometimes we're uncomfortable with the way that we look, and you do a great job of making sure we feel our best and the most comfortable, but even then, some people, maybe they do need to lose 50 or 100 pounds or whatever. Take a photo of yourself and then tell yourself, okay, January 1st, I'm going to take another photo. I'm going to look different in this outfit. Like, I'm going to feel even better in it, and kind of doing it that way because we're really visual. I'm not a fan of the scale. So photos, like maybe look at photos of you last year during the holiday. Maybe you've already lost some weight, and comparing it to the way that you look now. Progress is motivating too. So those are a few tips to stay motivated.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Fun. So I think that's all of the questions that we had for today.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely all I had for you too.
We had a lot. We had quite a few.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Like you said, we're gonna do our New Year's resolution webinar here before the end of December. So that'll be exciting to hear what Christina has to say specifically, especially with the fitness industry. I know that's huge. I always see like 10 more people at the boot camp class in the first week of January than I did before.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us today and hearing what we both have to say. We're excited to share later on this month. We hope you enjoyed it, and thank you all for tuning in. Thanks, Christina.
Thanks, Mel. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.